Hello there, this one is called Ultimate Heresy. I was chatting with a couple of friends recently, and one of the guys works in IT, and he was explaining how he's really so fed up with spending so much time doing all this online stuff. And indeed, we had just come from face-to-face gathering and very much appreciating such things. And so last night I found myself with so many silent knowledge drops popping in, and then along came this one. Go offline. Create all your relationships face to face with your loved ones, the ones who you are inspired to interact with. Our conversation continued, us three guys, and one of the things we realised is so many people can't imagine life without being able to go online, and we've all become so incredibly dependent upon all these devices to do these things for us. And we were talking about arranging to meet up face to face, and how some people can't even bear it if you phone. You've got to use a platform of some description. And talking about these things, and it reminded me when I was at university, there was an evening I fancied going round to a friend's house. Now we're all students, the city's Cardiff, no one's got a landline, and mobile phones don't exist. So I just got on my bike and I cycled to the house of my first friend I wanted to visit. Knocked on the door and he wasn't there. So I just went cycling off to another house. And I actually cycled to 20 houses and knocked on 20 doors, and I got no reply in each one. And I came back home and thinking, wow, that's just the way it is tonight. But my point is, everyone lived like that, and everyone survived and thrived. And of course, the reason why I talk about that was such an exceptional occasion. Every other occasion, I went round to someone's house, or they went round to mine, and it just happened. We met, and we had our face-to-face conversation, we have our good times. So the idea of everything online disappearing, or us opting out of it, really is a heretical thing in the modern times. And I was only reminded by receiving a message tonight about solar flares. When a really big solar flare hits the space around Earth, and therefore hits the Earth, what happens is it has a very profound effect upon all electrical devices. The most significant one in fairly recent times was in the 19th century, in the 1800s. And at that time there was not even mains electricity. All there was telegraph, a simple way of communicating with wires and dots and dashes and messages. Well, the entire world telegraph grid was fried after the solar flare outbreak in the 1800s. So it looks like we're heading for another one. And the logical inference is that all our electrical devices are going to be fried when this happens. So when I look back at this line of knowledge drop that I got last night, go offline, extricate yourself from that way of living, it suddenly doesn't sound quite so heretical. It might actually be a really wise way to prepare for one of the many changes that are coming to our lives on Earth. And the very first step is to start to become less dependent. Remind ourselves of other ways of doing things. Can you imagine how valuable a person will be who's learnt a lot if there's no Google, if it doesn't exist? Quite a thought. I know someone who used to be a reference librarian, and he would have exerted so much power in his community because he was the man to go to. If you wanted to know anything, you went to his reference library. And if you didn't know the answer, he'd know which book you needed to look it up. So, what a thought, eh? I want to take this just a little bit further. I wasn't expecting to say any of this stuff. So, when we talk about online, that's what we call the technosphere. And that has been made by humans. There is something called the noosphere, and this is the connection and the network and the information superhighway of nature. So the noosphere will continue, and in the bigger picture, in the broader scheme of things, this little diversion into the technosphere is just a blink in the eye in terms of human race development. And we're having this experience with these devices, and it's teaching us a lot. And the eventual destination is going to be when we rediscover our abilities to connect telepathically. As we continue to raise our vibrations, it becomes easier and easier to do. So our inevitable destiny is to be able to communicate telepathically. And the deviation of the technosphere has given us the ability to understand that there are other ways to interact and communicate. It's just that we will develop the intelligence to do so without using any devices. So as I conclude this on a device, I look forward to the time that we are living in the new earth, in natural time, able to communicate naturally without the need for a device. All the love to you.